Good morning, everyone. My name is Karla, and you've reached my FlossTube channel, KarlaBeingCrafty, where I talk about mostly cross stitch, but also other crafts that I enjoy and a little bit of life thrown in. Today is FlossTube number 210, and excuse me, itchy nose immediately, and it is Sunday, October 8th. I want to say welcome. If this is your first time finding my channel, then thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope that you like what you see. You want to hit like and subscribe and all of that good stuff. Baggy immediately came over here to say hello to you guys. If you are a returning viewer, then you know this guy. This is Bagheera, my very, very large black cat. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming by again today and spending this time with me. It means so much, and I enjoy all of your feedback and comments and everything so much every week. If you really like what you're seeing, then of course I do have a super thanks button down below to give a monetary tip, or you can always give a tip through PayPal. My email is in the description box, and so yeah, any little bit helps. It is not expected, of course, but monetary tips do help with the channel, with paying for Zoom fees, because I try and do a Zoom Stitchy get together at least once a month. Don't always make it, but sometimes I have it 2 months, 2 times a month. So so that makes up for it, right? And also for postage, that kind of thing. Okay, so I always give a Southern California weather report, and I am sorry to say I feel like this past week Mother Nature just went psych. It was like we had wonderful fall weather finally, and it cooled off, and it was like, getting a little bit crisp, and I was very, very happy to have that cooler weather. And then this week, Mother Nature's like, just kidding, and the temperature went back up to 95 for like 3 days, and it was 90 yesterday. I think it is cooling off a bit today to like high 80s instead of cracking 90, and it is supposed to go down a little bit for the next week, to ranging from the high 70s to the high 80s, but more in the 80s. So I'm hoping it doesn't go back up into the 90s again. I mean, we are still having cooler temperatures at night, which is good. But yeah, I'm done with the heat. I don't really like it to start with, and I'm done with it pretty quickly, and I'm definitely done with it now. It's October, for goodness sakes. It needs to cool off. So last week, when I was doing my video, I told you guys I was going to be playing D&D with my brother and nephew after the video, and I did. It was fun. Thank you to everybody who gave me encouragement for battling the monsters, and we battled. We didn't finish the battle. It was going to be a long one, so it may last another session or even maybe 2. I did a lot of like running around during the battle, healing people, because that's my primary job. My primary job is not necessarily to be on the offensive when we're battling, but to help out the fighters who have been attacked. So that's what I did. But I have a new skill, going up a level, and I know those of you who are not into D&D, this is going right over your head, but I did have a couple people comment that they are into D&D, so I know that they are out there. But I have a new skill. I have an animal companion that's a little snake that wraps around my wrist, and he can go slithering off and wrap around the people that I need to heal, so I can do touched attacks without actually having to touch. So that's pretty cool. So I was doing that all the battle. I was sending my little snake slithering off to different characters to be able to heal them. So it was fun, and of course it was great to kind of get online with my brother and nephew Logan. And so I'll be looking forward to doing that again at the end of this month, or I guess, yeah, or next, yeah, it's coming up. I am looking forward to going out and meeting up with Julie from Stitching at the Cabin today, this afternoon. So that's something to look forward to, have an afternoon of girl talk. And then my friend that I mentioned last week who's going to be in town arrived Thursday. I haven't seen her yet, but we're planning to get together sometime this week. So she's leaving again on Thursday, so it'll have to be the early part of the week, but we will be getting together. And I can't wait to see her because it's been couple years, I think, since I've seen her in person. We've seen each other online a lot, but let's see what else. Hudson's birthday was Friday. I think I told you guys that his birthday was the 8th, and I kept saying that, and I was being a ding dong. His birthday is the 6th. I think it's because I had the 8th in my head because the other two kids are both on the 28th of their respective months. But yeah, so his birthday was Friday. They did send me a little video in the morning of him opening the Zero doll, and he seemed to really like it, so that was good. And I think he had a fun birthday with friends. They went to McDonald's, which is his favorite place. And then I don't know what all they did, but they did go someplace where it was like a Build-A-Bear where you can build animals, and they did that, but there was also like puppy petting. Like they showed all the kids sitting like in a little area on the floor that was fenced in, and then different puppies coming in and jumping all over them and petting them, you know, them getting to pet them and hold them, and so that looked like a lot of fun. So in other, you know, news, this has been a tough week for me. I will be honest with you guys. I'm going through some really rather dramatic financial problems that I'm trying to work through with the help of some friends, and it's just got me extremely stressed. So it's not, I mean, I don't want to like dwell on that here or burden you guys with that, but it is something that is occupying a lot of my brain and causing a lot of anxiety, which, you know, anxiety messes with your digestive system and your sleep system and everything. So I'm trying really hard to work through that. I think I've dug myself into a hole through all of the circumstances that have happened to me in the last several years, and it is hard to see a way out of it. So yeah, I'm really, really stressed about that. So when I talk about doing super thanks, and I talk about the fact that I might start trying to sell some of my creations and things like that, that's where it's coming from. I'm just really in a dire strait right now, and I'm single, and I'm doing it all kind of on my own, and it's a little hard. I'm not the first person to be in this kind of situation, and I'm definitely, unfortunately, not gonna be the last, but you know, hopefully I'll get through it intact. Knock wood. Okay, so enough of that yucky stuff. Let's just get into the stitching, and now I always say this and then it doesn't turn out that way, but this may be a fairly short video. I don't have a lot of other stuff to go over with you, but I do want to show you my projects. I did stitch almost every day this week, so that's good. I got some work done on a lot of projects, and I'm feeling positive about the work that I did as far as stitching and everything like that. So there was only like one night where the anxiety was too bad. Oh, the other thing that I did want to mention with you guys, which is a kind of a fun thing that my friends and I discovered, is that if you have Prime Video, well, everybody has to have it, but you can do what they call a watch party. So people that are remote can actually watch a movie, you know, together, real time together, and then there's a chat box on the side. So like if you're watching on your TV, the chat is on the side there. Now it does take up like a quarter of the screen, so if that bothers you, you can close the chat and just look at it on your phone, because you're typing into your phone if you want to chat, but it does show on the screen if you want it, which is really kind of cool. So my friends and I watched a movie last night together that I suggested. I'd seen it. It was the D&D movie. I'm very into D&D right now, if you can't tell. But they just totally had fun with it, and it was great. Because I had seen it before, I felt comfortable doing a little bit of crafting while watching it, so I crocheted. So I worked on my Granny Square Shrug last night while I was watching that movie. And where did I end? Okay, so this is how far I am now. It is growing. I mean, it's obviously it's not big enough to be a shrug yet. It needs to grow quite a bit more, but it is growing. I do have a couple mistakes that I discovered. I guess that is what happens when you are watching a movie and aren't paying enough attention. I had a couple mistakes like in the corners, where like I forgot to like make the corner, but I was able to fix it well enough, and it'll be fine. One thing that did happen though, which was kind of annoying, is I came to a place in my ball of yarn that was damaged. I mean, it was a big section that was damaged because this is like a 3-strand. No, I just dropped the little ball part. Okay. It was like, it's like 3-strand yarn, and like one of the strands like broke. So there was this whole section with a broken strand, and I had to just basically cut it out, which means that that color, you know, of the ombre is going to have a lot less in this stripe or whatever. But I mean, there's nothing I could do about it. Kind of annoying, and I don't know. I'm not. I mean, I decided to keep this because, you know, I can still use it. Like if I need to do joining or something like that, I can probably still use this section. But for those of you that knit and crochet, Lee from Stick Strings and Other Things, who's one of my D&D people, she's like a professional level knitter, it seems, when I watch her videos. Is this common? You know, is it common to have a big bad section in the middle of your ball of yarn? I'm a little concerned, you know. I see another little picky bit right here that I'm gonna have to either cut out or go around or something like that. I hope that's not something that I'm gonna run into a lot. But I really like the way this yarn is going. I mean, I love the way it looks and everything. It is kind of a loose twist, I guess, and it is kind of splitty, like it's easy to like split the fibers, but I used a whole ball, and I was like a good third into this one before I came into this problem. So hopefully it's not something that I'm going to run into a lot with it. But anyway, so that is the crochet that I worked on this week. I'm really interested to see what it's going to look like when I get, because right now, I mean, I got into a lighter color, but it's not, you know, obviously it doesn't show as well because it's only a little bit. But I mean, I'm really interested to see just how it's kind of going to look when it goes from this light to dark to light again, you know. I think it's going to be pretty. Oh, goodness. I don't know if you guys can hear that noise. If you have a cat and you can hear that, you know what's happening. Baggy ate his breakfast a little too fast, and now he's spitting up. Oh, goodness. I have to make noise so you don't hear that. That's like the worst noise in the world. Okay. So that was my crocheting this week. Just a little bit. Okay, but I did have quite a bit of stitching. The first thing I worked on, this was something that I started in honor of Laura, Stitching at the Shore. It is her birthday this month in October, and so she started, this is at least her second year, if not her third year, of doing a pumpkin birthday sal. So basically she's just inviting everybody to join in to celebrate, you know, her birthday month by stitching on something with a pumpkin or on pumpkin colored fabric or pumpkin colored yarn. And as she pointed out, I mean, that's pretty loose because now pumpkins come in so many different colors. and I wanted to join in. She actually said in her last video that she was inspired to start that because of my Black Hat birthday sal, which is really cool. Thank you for allowing me to be an inspiration a little bit, Laura. But anyway, I did want us to join in. I thought I didn't have anything that had pumpkins, which I was wrong, because I have a project I'm actually working on that does have pumpkins in the pattern. I'm not there yet, but I realized I had a couple of little Mill Hill like ornament kits, and I had finished my frog a couple weeks ago, a month ago or so. So I figured it was time to start another one anyway, and it's not a huge project that's going to like stress me out by starting a new one. So I picked this one, actually with Laura's help, Pumpkin Trio. And this is a Mill Hill kit on perforated paper. And I just got, you know, a small start on this. So, on the turquoise pumpkin. It's fun to have different like types of projects, like so having a little thing that I'm doing on perforated paper, you know, is very different than the things I have on regular fabric. So I like having kind of that variety. I just have this in a little bendy flip thing, which I really like these little things. These are actually the right size for bobbins, but I don't bobbinate anything, so I always have to kind of figure out different ways to use this little pockets. But okay, I worked on my sampler Osha this week, which is not technically like on my monthly like theme list, but you know, it's here because I want to get it done before the end of the year. So every so often I get the desire to stitch on it. And I'm stitching this on 20 count Aida in a very light ice blue using sulky threads. I'm using the blendables for the main color and then 2 other colors for the accent. So this is the total look. And then this week, I did this R, and I did this. This isn't quite finished. There's like 2 more bits, but I did the R and started the S. This R gave me so many problems. I mean, it's still wrong, but I got to a point where I was like, forget it. I'm not pulling it out. I did like half of it, had to pull out, you know, most of what I stitched, did it again, realized it was still messed up. Basically, I just kind of decided screw it, and I finished it. I just made sure the starting and the ending were correct. So this little hump of the R is actually a little bit wrong, but in the scheme of the whole thing, I don't care. So there you go. Okay. But this definitely is something that I want to finish this year, so I think that's doable. I think it is. It's less doable if I screw up every time I stitch on it, like I did this week, but okay. I did some work on Ashes, which is actually another Mill Hill kit, but this one is on fabric. This is one of the Alley Cats. There's 4 in the series, and they're all these sort of dark gray, blackish cats with these corner motifs that are beaded. 2 of them are on orange fabric and 2 of them are on green fabric. I've done that one, and now I'm doing one of the greens. And it's kind of cool because, and I didn't realize this until I started looking at the patterns when I had them, that the beading pattern the beading pattern that is in the corner is different on each of the charts. So like this chart has a beading pattern that are like little sort of like plus sign kind of things. The last one I did, the coal, which is, wait, there. They were little diamonds, so they're each different. And that's how far I've got on this. So you can see these, like, these areas will be beaded eventually. So I got a little bit more done on the kitty cat. And on these patterns, everything is done with 2 strands except for the cats are done with 3 strands, and it's a blended 2 strands of a darker gray and 1 strand of the lighter gray. I'm gonna pull out my prickly owl so I don't forget to take it with me for lunch. I didn't work on this week, but I'm working on this with Julie. We kind of started at the same time, and so, and it's kind of nice and small, so this will be fun to work on this afternoon while I'm with her, waiting for her. Normally we don't actually stitch that much when we're together because we're too busy talking, but last time I got there like 10 minutes early and I was able to work on it a little bit. Okay, I did work on Bellatrix this week. Every time I pull her out, I realize how much I love her and I should work on her more. But, you know, she's so big and like there's so much to do on her that she's gonna take a while. So this is Bellatrix by Bella Filipina. Did you guys see the new Bella Filipina that came out this past week? It's like a forest goddess. She's so pretty. So she might be on my wish list. She's not going to be purchased anytime soon, but she might be on my wish list. And some people showed her, like, because she's facing the opposite way of Bellatrix, so some people showed her like them side by side, like almost like rivals, you know, like she's throwing her magic out the window here to that woman, you know, and then the position that the other one's in, you know, like they're battling or something. It's kind of cool. She's also very, very, very pretty. As I said, this is a huge project. And this week I worked down just here, which is not a super exciting part, but it kind of started the cat, you can see. And I brought the window frame over and brought it down, make sure everything lined up, which it did, yay. So yeah, I just have to show you, I mean, I didn't work on this week, but just her face is so pretty. Love her. She's a good one to work on in October too, so I need to pull her out a little bit more this month. Okay, I worked on Black Pearl. I really, again, would like to get her done by the end of the year. Normally I only work on my mermaids in the summer, but because she is smaller and I just have this desire to get her done, I think she's going to be around for the rest of the year until I can get her finished. So I worked on her tail, brought it down. And then last but not least, oops, I worked on London Places All Hallows Eve. This is one of my oldest charts because I started this pretty soon after I started stitching. And I usually only pull it out like in October. I don't know, maybe this year I'll keep it out and try and get it done, but I don't know. It just is going to depend on how I feel when I hit November, December. But I finished, I think I finished the ghoul this week, so I don't think you guys have seen him finished yet. So he's done. Then I did some of the words. I went over to this side and started on my vampire. So I have the skeleton left and the stars, which are gonna, you know, just be sewn on. I have metal wire stars. I have to finish the vampire, and then there are pumpkins on this for that pumpkin birthday style, but of course I don't like to count, as we know, so it's like I'm not gonna go down to the pumpkins until I do the vampire, because I don't want to mess up the counting. And then there's the vulture and the words, of course. So each of these little like motifs has a bit of stitching in it, so you know, but it's fun. This is on a, I think 28 count, because as I said, that is very new baby stitcher when I started this. 28 count Picture This Plus Aida, which is the very sort of, you can see, very floppy Aida. I mean, it's pretty to look at. It feels nice. It's just the stitches are not as neat as might be most desirable, just because it is kind of floppy. But I mean, in general, it looks good. I've changed colors all over this thing. I mean, you can see on the original, the ghoul is all in shades of yellow and rust and stuff, and I changed him quite a bit. And I've used this as sort of, because again, I started it so early in my stitching career, I hadn't tried a bunch of different fibers, and so there's a lot of different fibers that I tried for the first time on this. So I have glow in the dark up here. I'm also going to put the glow in the dark in the skeleton, I believe. I have whisper here, which it's in his chest and face. This was definitely a learning lesson on how the best way to use whisper is, which was not how I used it here. It is kind of matted in him, but it's okay because, you know, he's a werewolf. He's still a little fuzzy, but it is, I did not use it, let's say, the proper way. I don't think there's anything weird in my little witch. The snake has satin floss that I had never used before at that time. The ghost is actually a toile. I think I said that it was blending film, and it's not. It's a toile. There's a little bit of a toile in the bats, the eyes here as well. And then I have sparkly floss. I don't know if you can see the red. There is actually light effects. So I'm going to do the inside of his cape with the light effects. And as I said, the skeleton is going to be glow in the dark. I have metal stars that I've had for years. Where are they? They're down at the bottom, of course. There they are. I have this package of metal stars that I've had for years. I think I got them at Michael's when I was really into doing beading and necklaces, and I gave them to my mother actually when she was doing beading and necklaces, you know, big beads, not little beading, but you know, using big beads. And I ended up getting them back when she passed away. So I have that memory of them, of giving them to her and everything, and so they're going to be incorporated on here. And then I don't know if I'm going to do anything, you know, with any fancy sort of flosses in the vulture or the pumpkins. Maybe I'll use a toile again, or maybe a satin in the pumpkins. Maybe for like the mouths and stuff, maybe I'll do like a satin floss if I have a yellow. So I'll have to see. I'll have to see what I have. But, you know, again, it would be nice to get a finish on this, but I'm not desperate to get a finish. So I just like how it looks. And it's fun. It's fun to bring out in October. And that is it, my friends. That is all of my stitching for the past week. Plans is pretty much going to be more of the same. I'm sure I'm going to work, well, I'm probably going to work on pretty much a lot of the patterns that you saw this week. I'm going to work on those again because I did enjoy it, and they fit the theme of the season and the theme of the weather, at least if it cools off a little bit. And yeah, so I'm enjoying it. So that's my basic plans. I don't have any new starts or anything like that planned at this point, although I was thinking about it this week just because of Halloween, and I was like thinking I have, you know, a couple of the past years just cross-stitch Halloween magazines, so I could possibly pull those out and take a look and see if there's something that I want to stitch from there. But I don't know. I mean, I don't have any specific plans, but you know, sometimes I just get that itch that I want to start something, and you know, and I do because I have all the stuff, and you know, what's the harm? So yeah, so it's gonna be more of the same. As far as my cooking videos, I did put up a video this past week of making split pea soup, which was extremely delicious, and I have a big container of it in my freezer for this week. I was planning on doing a video yesterday, but I didn't get around to it, so I may do a video this afternoon when I get home, depending on how late it is. I have a pumpkin cake recipe, or it's like a snack cake that I'm very excited to do. I think I mentioned this last week. And I also have a couple other pumpkin, like I have a pumpkin pasta that I have all the ingredients for, and I am actually really excited to make that. So I haven't tried it, but you know, at first when I started doing my cooking, my counter cooking videos, I thought I'm only gonna do stuff that's like tried and tested and whatever, but as I've been doing those videos, it's gotten me kind of sparked this this excitement and creativity to try a few things cooking wise. And I say cooking because I do very easy sort of dump and go things. I mean, you can see the videos start to finish aren't usually more than 20 minutes, and that's talking and showing you the finish, you know, so the actual cooking part is very, very minimal, which is kind of how I like things now. But doing those videos has sparked the interest in me to kind of like think of things that I want to make that are maybe a little bit more interesting for myself. And so then I want to share them with you. So I do have a big list of stuff that eventually I want to do videos on as far as the cooking. I'm just enjoying it as an extra thing to do and put on my channel, and I'm having enough people watch them that it is worth it, I guess. And so I'm going to continue doing that. So hopefully I'll get one done to be able to put something up on Wednesday, but I don't know, just because I don't know how long I'm going to be with Julie today. I don't know what I'm going to, you know, feel like when I get home, if I'm going to feel like doing anything in the kitchen. And then I am, as I said, meeting my friend sometime the early part of this week. So I just don't know what my time is going to be. So hopefully I'll have an extra video out for you guys on Wednesday, but I just don't know. Anyway, that is, I think, about it. All of a sudden it got really gray outside, so I don't know if we're looking for having a little bit of a cool down, a little bit of rain this afternoon. I don't think so. I don't think it was predicted, but anyway, so I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you have a good week coming up with, you know, lots of stitching and fun and just calming. I'm going to try and keep my anxiety level low. You know, we'll get through this, hopefully. Yeah, so, until I see you guys again, I hope you have a great week, and please remember to be content. Ooh, what is my tag? All right, I'm not totally with it today, you guys. Okay, until I see you guys again, please remember to be content, be kind, and be crafty. This is Karla. Bye-bye.